Hello everyone and welcome to the Good Old Gamer. So today Nvidia launches the most expensive consumer grade graphics card of all time. And yeah, it seems rather pointless from all the reviews out there. However, on the flip side, we actually have some very good news with the tariffs here in the United States going down. Asus is saying they will be lowering their internal MSRPs by up to 25%. So we now have very expensive MSRPs, but lowering prices. We're going to go ahead and talk about all that here today. So if you guys haven't seen yet, the RTX 3090 Ti, everything's been out there, all the reviews are live, and this is coming in with an MSRP of $1999, so $2,000 for a consumer-grade graphics card. Now, what I find really funny is Nvidia really wanted the reviewers, this is according to Steve from Hardware Unboxed, by the way, they wanted them to compare this to the RTX Titan. And, well, this isn't a Titan class graphics card. Titans come with additional benefits, so nobody should be doing that. Although the price tag is in and about that range. And I think I can speak for everybody when the Titan RTX came out, everybody was like, well, that's a bit ridiculous for essentially a 2080 Ti. What? Here we are. However, Nvidia seems to have missed the boat with the fact that GPU prices are going down at an astonishing rate. This came out yesterday. Asus announces price cuts of up to 25% in April for GeForce RTX 30 GPUs. And the 25%, for any of you guys wondering, is because that's what the tariffs were on all Chinese-made products. So essentially, this isn't changing their margins or anything like that. Instead of paying the government these tariffs, you're going to see 25 or up to 25% in savings starting in April, and this is actually going to be starting on April 1st. This comes from an email sent by Asus to Tom's Hardware, so I'm just going to go ahead and read this for you guys. As a result of the latest tariffs lift on Chinese imports from the Office of the United States Trade Representative, gamers and PC enthusiasts will see lower prices on Asus RTX 30 series graphics cards starting on April 1st, 2022. And this is not an April Fool's joke, by the way. I know, it's just kind of a bad date for them to do this, but even still, lower prices will affect the entry-level graphics cards RTX 3050, RTX 3060, mid-range RTX 3070, and the high-performance RTX 3080 and 3090. Basically, the entire lineup, top to bottom, 25%, just ding, right off of Asus's MSRP. Now that's key, and we'll talk about that here in a second. According to the article here, no other board partners have thus far confirmed lower prices, but it seems likely that other companies are to follow this trend. Yeah, well, if Asus's graphics cards are 25% lower than everybody else, guess who's going to get all of the sales? And then this last bit in here is important. I know a lot of you guys don't live here in the US, but it is important to note that US tariffs do not directly affect the prices from other countries. However, when the US tariffs were introduced, the GPU prices have skyrocketed around the globe, which Paul and I over at the Techonomics podcast, we talked about this when this happened. With that in mind, there's a good reason to expect that the US price cuts will have a global impact in some form. So that's wonderful news. That means that we should basically just see, take whatever the price of the thing selling for now. Let's use the 3050, for example. Most of those are going for $399, $400. The reason why I chose this is very easy math here. You take $399, you knock off 25%. That should immediately drop the prices on these all the way down to $299, which is still above the MSRP from Nvidia, but far closer to it than where they are now. And honestly, if you get a nice AIB cooler and a bunch of other stuff, $299 is probably what these were going to be selling for anyway. So this should get a lot of these Nvidia graphics cards back to their regular pricing. Now, in the article, they're only talking about Nvidia cards, but obviously this will also affect the upcoming Intel cards and AMD cards as well. Basically anything that's produced in China. And as we know, at least some part of every single graphics card has parts in China. So it may not knock the full 25% off, depending on where, the company's sourcing things. However, 20, 15, even 10% on a lot of these cards should get them there. A lot of AMD cards are literally 10 to 15% away from their current MSRPs. So this should get them there all the way. So everybody last year that was thinking MSRPs were this big fictitious unicorn and it'll never happen again, well, it seems like it's going to be happening now. Also, the upside to this, especially for people here in the United States, is with the next generation graphics cards about to launch in the next few months, these should come with that already baked in, meaning the prices should not be as high as, they would have been otherwise. So a lot of the doom and gloom that I've been prepping you guys for on GPU prices, some of that will be alleviated by this. If you take, let's say something's going to be $4,000, you knock 25% off, now it's $3,000. It's not great, let's be honest. Things are going to be very expensive next generation, but this should lower the price significantly and at least keep it within the realm of possibilities for a lot of you guys out there. Now, I just use those prices as an example, but that's kind of where I was thinking the top tier graphics cards next gen would be, around that $4,000 mark. Now they might be $3,000, and then if they don't sell well, they'll be discounted, and then they'll be in between $2,000 and $3,000. And as we just saw with the RTX 3090 Ti, $2,000 graphics cards is already a thing. So this would basically put next generation's flagship cards within the pricing tier of what we currently have. Now, flipping to the bad side of things, the current state of the market, we now have $2,000 plus graphics cards officially. This isn't scalper pricing. This isn't AIBs just making up whatever they want. This isn't due to demand. This is just due to the fact that, hey, there are people out there willing to spend this exorbitant amount of money to play video games. Now, to me, that's absolutely insane. I would never recommend that. It's just not worth it to me personally. However, I'm not you. If you feel that it's necessary and that extra 5 to 10% extra performance that this offers over a 3090, hey, more power to you, have at it. But I don't see there being too many people going, 3090 Ti, 6 months away, you're going to be irrelevant. So I'm not actually sure how many people are in that camp, realistically. So I really don't know what Nvidia is thinking with the launch of this 3090 Ti, other than to test the waters, push prices higher, and kind of get an idea of what they can get away with for next generation, for things like coolers and just ridiculous power draw and a bunch of different things. Basically a litmus test to see how far they can push everybody next generation now and see how many buyers are in this $2,000 plus class. That's the only reason I can see this thing existing, is just kind of a YouTube poll that they're putting out there. I would put out a poll, you click a button. Here they're putting out a product just to see how it goes. And personally, I think that's the only reason why this exists in the manner that it does. Realistically, this should have been maybe not a Titan, but like a special edition, maybe an RTX 3090 CEO edition, some sort of limited collector's edition thing. And then I think the value of the card would actually make some sort of sense. Collector parts are always worth a lot more, even though they don't really matter. But if they said, hey, we're only doing 10,000 of these and they're all going to be numbered and that sort of thing, that would make it worth the price. But since they're not doing that and they're launching it like a regular product, I think it's just to test the water. But I don't think most people are going to be interested in this card. I think most people are going to be very, very happy with these upcoming price cuts. And the price cuts are going to be particularly important for like your 60 class on down. So your RTX 3050 buyer, your RTX 3060, 3060 Ti, and maybe even up to something like a 3070 buyer, because I don't expect those cards to launch this year. It might be a year or so before those get replaced. So those cards definitely have some more life in them. The RTX 3050 just launched like 2 months ago. So it's likely that won't be replaced for quite some time. So if you can get that card for at or around MSRP and that type of performance or the amount of money that you want to spend, this is great news for you guys. So yeah, the super high-end enthusiasts, however, the people that would be interested in an RTX 3090 Ti, I think most of you guys that would normally do that can wait the 6 months. I believe so anyway, because if you spend $2,000 on a card or $2,300 or whatever for the AIB models, even if they do take a nice price cut with these upcoming price cuts, I would assume that they would have had that factored in now, but who knows? Regardless, whatever you spend on this, it's going to drop in value just much, much faster than any of the other cards. More than likely, if you are one of those people, you have a 6900 XT or an RTX 3090 right now, so it's not like you're struggling. So those are definitely going to take a price hit as well, but you've already had maybe a year or a year and a half's worth of time with it, so, that kind of balances out a little bit on your losses. So yeah, I think the RTX 3090 Ti, this is a card that's just a litmus test. to see how many crazy, like supremely crazy people there are out there. And I know it's none of you guys, if you watch this channel, that's not you. But Nvidia is going to sell a certain amount of these, and if it's more than what they're expecting, I highly expect next generation cards to actually cost even more. So I'm really hoping that thing flops over, because there's really no reason for anybody to buy it. And for everybody else out there, if you were waiting for graphics cards at decent prices, April 1st and probably all throughout April, that's going to be the time to really take a look. And I know a lot of people would say, well, new cards are coming out at the end of this year. Pretty much, if you're under the $800 GPU mark, if you're not looking to spend that much on a graphics card, you're not getting any options this year. So a year from now, because it's the end of March, I'd say probably around then, maybe. And when those cards launch, they're also out of stock for 2 or 3 months because, well, you know, it's new and everybody wants the new thing. So if you think about it, it's a year and a half from now or so. So if you're looking at getting like a 3060, 3060 Ti, 3050, and the AMD equivalents, you're probably still better off buying this year once the prices get at or below MSRP. So hopefully we see that here in the not too distant future. I will be keeping track of that. We will be talking about all the price cuts as they happen next month. I don't think I'll do a video April 1st on it, because who would believe it? But perhaps on April 2nd, we'll go through and check out and see where pricing is at that point in time. But I'm super excited. Things are going to get more reasonable. This should help combat all the inflationary stuff that we're seeing. And then I'm really actually more excited for next generation than I was beforehand, because if you just knock 25% just off the top of my expected prices there, we're still in the realm of reality. We might even see prices the same as what we should have got this generation, meaning like a 60 class at $329 instead of $400 is what I was thinking would go up to, and that sort of thing. So next generation might actually turn out a lot better now. I'm super excited. Things are about to get way more interesting. So April 1st can't come soon enough. I want to hear your thoughts about all this down in the comment section below. Are you psyched? Are you going to be buying one of these cards, or are you do you already have like a high-end card, or are you just looking for the high-end next generation stuff? I also want to know if you are interested in a 3090 Ti. Just put it in there and be like, I'm interested. You don't even have to say anything past that. You don't have to justify it. I'm just kind of trying to get a head count. So let me know if you're interested in those. But alrighty, guys, if you want to talk more about this stuff, tomorrow, Paul and I on the Technomics podcast, this is definitely going to be the topics that we're going to be discussing the most. So I want to see you there. Links are down below. Just subscribe, hit the notification bell. We will go live a little bit later on tomorrow. And yeah, love to see you there. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.